So here we are at week 10, and we're going to begin the principles of design. So the first one that we're going to study is unity, and this sheet is in your printouts for you to use, but we're going to look at this one right here. Shapes unify. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our artist movement. We're going to do 3 this 9 weeks, and this is the first one, and we're going to study M.C. Escher. And we'll have a little link in there for a artist notes segment for this Google Classroom assignment. So this is one of Escher's pieces I printed out for you to see. And he uses the same design, the same lizard, and moves it around the paper so that each one fits into the nook and cranny of the next one. So that's what we're going to learn to do. Some of the things that are going to be needed for this assignment: pencil, of course, eraser, of course. We're probably going to need a glue stick or tape for this one. And you're going to need paper, and you're going to need something like cardstock, which is an index card, a cereal box, some poster board, anything that you can glue the cutout to make it easier to trace, because thin, flimsy paper is not the easiest to trace. When you trace, you're going to want them all uniform. You will see what I mean in a little while. So you need to gather your supplies and have them at the ready. So I went ahead and ran over and got my tape. Tape, glue, scissors, pencil, eraser. And once we gather all our supplies, cereal box or cardboard or index card, something like that, then we're going to go ahead and get started. So get your things together, and we'll be right back to get started. Okay, so the first thing I did is, you have a choice on your sheet. So I just chose the bird. I cut it out, then I took my index card, and I glued it down. I'm not going to redo this. I think that's pretty elementary. I glued it down on here, and then I cut it out very carefully. So I didn't have to draw anything yet. The first step after getting that part done, that's like prep work. The first step in doing the actual art is to carefully hold it down with your hand and trace around it, starting at one point and ending back at the same starting point. You don't want to forget anything. It's very difficult if you leave a little line out to come back and catch up and redo where you are, trying to line it back up again. So and you can even tell the couple of times my pencil caught on it and lifted it up. Very difficult, and I'm doing lightly. So anyway, it doesn't look like much. Looks like a chaos, but as you can see, when you put the features on there, it will look more like a bird. So tessellation is finding a way to fit this together so that it, in the nooks and crannies, so you can see that this edge right here, that's perfect right there. And then trace. You don't need to trace this and this and these sides, because they're matched up to these. So then you'll go ahead and carefully trace around it again. Fits perfectly together. So now I'll have to find out where does it fit again. And I think when I wiggled it, I saw that these pieces, like a big old jigsaw puzzle. So I think I'll try that right there, and carefully. so I even did figure out how to get that little one over here. I don't think the camera picked it up, but the whole page is full. Now, what we need to do is go back and make sure that we are putting our designs on here. Alright, so you need to fill them all in. Yes, it's very tedious work. But let's think about this. What if we did every bird, make sure we get a face in there, and then do every bird with a different pattern or a texture? What would happen if we didn't make this a bird at all, but we made it an organic shape and filled it in that way? So I'm going to stick to the bird. Now, the other thing that you possibly could do is color on the back and transfer your features on there. But take your time because we want it to look good. It's a lot of action going on. So get that part done, outline it with Sharpie, and then we'll talk about the coloring. All right, so here's what I decided to do. I decided not to do every one of them. I decided to do so that they're touching, but they're also leaving a bird shape between them. So now I'll go back and outline. Turn it this way, you might see a little bit better, even though that's not the way I would have it. I need to come back and do this one right here, this one right here, and then outline with Sharpie. All right, so I have all of my outline. I found a couple of boo-boos in there that I was able to fix with my Sharpie, do a little erasing, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. So now I'm going to take my colored pencils and I'm going to decide how I want to color it. What if I want to do the negative spaces, cool colors, and the birds that are tessellated, the opposite, warm colors. So I'm gonna play around with that. What if I just decide I want to do all of the negative one color and each bird a different color? Put a lot of thought into it so that you have an excellent representation for your tessellations. Then we're going to come back and we're going to look at this. Yes, you will be able to do something like this as well. So get busy on this and we'll see what it looks like. This is really exciting. All right, so here is my finished project. I took my little bird stencil and I created an Escher tessellation. Last thing I think I mentioned was I'm not sure what colors I want to use. It could be warm and cool. It could be different tints, different shades. So I decided after I looked at it for a while that I wanted to do a blue background and do red birds. I thought that would stand out nicely. I think having it completely colored, even up to the edges, and that took a while. It took some making sure I slid my bird the right direction. So that's the first tessellation project. And I challenge you to move on to this one. And I'm going to go step by step with this. And I'm also going to put the link to the step by step for this on the Google Classroom assignment. This is a lot of fun and it is so much easier than it looks like. I'm going to have all of my materials ready. I'm going to walk you through it. It'll take a little while, but it'll be worth it. All right, so to get started on this project, I took some index cards and I cut them into little squares because I didn't want to have a huge design on my paper. This is probably a large sheet of paper for this, but anyway, you can see but the size of this, how big that's going to be compared to the face. But I wanted to make sure I had several repetitions on my paper. So my little square is approximately 2.5 by 2. Does not really matter, but I cut a little square and then I drew a profile on my square. And you can see I've erased several times because I wanted to get something interesting. I went back and looked, and I like the way the little bangs hang over like that. So anyway, I went ahead, and if I don't like this one, I can just always do another one. Now, it's tedious to cut this out with the camera in between me and my paper, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to carefully, we don't want to ruin this. This is part of the tessellation. So, and I may need to go get, and if I don't, I may need smaller scissors, but if I don't follow the lines exactly, it's okay. I definitely don't want to ruin the other side. Okay, so I think it's easy to see on this color. What I've done is I have cut out, I want to make sure I get it correct. I have cut out the profile, and I'm going to slide it to the other side, and I'm going to line it up very carefully, and I'm going to tape it. And I think I'm going to flip it over and tape the other side as well. And one thing I should have mentioned is when we are drawing on our card, vortex, we want to start at this vortex corner and end at that one. Okay? Corner to corner. All right, so once I have done that, I need to also go from corner to corner with another shape. Corner to corner. Now, the instructions say, and it makes sense, to shade this so that it's recognizable. Just makes your work a little bit easier. That way you know what you're cutting. So I'm going to cut that out very carefully. And this is where it was. I'm going to slide it to the top and match it up very carefully. And I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. There. Perfect. Perfect shape. So on one side, I'm going to put A. And on the other side, I'm going to put B. So I want for you to take your time. And I want for you to just do the best you can with drawing a profile. Remember, we started with a profile, we cut it out, we taped it on the other side, and then we cut out a shape on the bottom, and we slid it up and taped it on the top. Now, I'm going to come back and do some more taping on mine, then I'm going to get my paper, and I'll show you how we're going to begin. Well done. All right, so I have my stencil. I have it labeled A, and I have it labeled B. And I'm going to start with the A side, pretty much in the center of the paper. I'm going to start kind of off to the side a little bit, and I'm going to trace around it very carefully. Lightly, in case I need to make any adjustments where it moves. There we go. Then I'm going to slide my stencil over so that it matches up perfectly. And you know it does that because when we cut this out, we slid it over here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and lightly trace. Very good. Now, that's just two. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to finish up this edge. I don't want that empty edge. With a simple little tracing. And then I'm also going to come over here and finish up this edge. There we go. Now, if that is not the way you want to do that, you want more faces, then you can always turn your paper this direction, okay? I've done one of each, so I'll show you the other one. All right, so then that was A. You're going to turn it over and do the B side. So we don't just start on the edge. I'm going to come and start right here where I can line it up with that line right there. Oops, I slid. Make sure I line it up perfectly. I'm going to do the same thing again, just like a puzzle. Voila! We have all of them. That's why going this direction and just having basically it fit two in a row, that's fine because that's a lot of coloring to do. So anyway, go ahead and get this done. When I come back, I'm going to have it outlined. I'm going to have any lines erased that I don't want there. I'm going to erase my AB, AB. What a great repetition pattern. Take your time doing that, and I'll come back and show you mine, and I cannot wait to see yours. All right, so I have fully outlined mine, and I want to share something with you. Let's say that you really aren't interested in making all of these into faces. Maybe you feel overwhelmed. Well, guess what? That technique that we used is the same for no matter what shape you do. You could do the bird the same way and have it flying opposite directions using the B and the A to switch the direction in which you go. You might color these with different patterns in them. It's still a tessellation. It does not have to be a profile of a face. So I'm going to go ahead, and this will take a while to color because that's a whole lot. I have to go back in and also do facial features. And that's going to be a challenge, but it's one that I'm excited about. I have plenty of time on my hands to do that. So I will show you mine when it's all finished, and I am looking forward to this very much. I just had to pop in and show you this. This is what mine looks like as I am penciling in the placement for my eyes, my ears, and my mouth. It looks very strange. So let's cross our fingers that I can turn this into something a little more like this. We shall see. All right, quick pop in again. I'm making progress. Now, this is by no means what I'm hoping these will look like, but I went back and I just kind of penciled in where I wanted things, came back in and refined a little bit. Still got some scary looking eyes. I have a lot left to do. I might want some glasses. I love the freckles that add to it. I'm hoping I can find several different multicultural tones, which are a separate pack of more colored pencils that I'm just going to have to make do. I love some of the wavies in the hair. This is just fantastic. So I can't wait. Let's keep working. All right, so I am just pleased as punch with the way mine turned out. And I did show you steps that I wasn't really sure how this was going to turn out. So here's the Crayola website sample or example. And here's mine, and I am pleased, very pleased. So what we've seen today is how to take the bird and create a tessellation like Escher. We have seen that this is on the materials in Google Classroom if you would rather do this one. And we have also seen how to create one. Now it would be the same technique even if you didn't want to do a face but you wanted to do something else. Cut a side, slide it over, tape it, cut the bottom, slide it up and tape it, label A and B so that you're going alternate directions. So in this unit, we have studied Escher. Now there's a video and there's going to be 3 questions to answer with the video. You have your templates that I just mentioned, and that is the unit on unity. Unity is the thing that joins the parts together, and as I said, we decided to do this one together. So here's your resources. Go ahead and get started. Please don't forget to turn it in. I can't wait to see it full color. I don't want to see any of that white. And as we go back to the bird one, full color. Beautiful. So have fun with that, and we're going to check back in with the next unit.